picture this. You have your own business, but yet you never bother to hire new staff, develop new products, or even advertise your own business. That business has a very high chance of failing, doesn't it? Your body is the same. There's lots of different ways for you to be better, but today we're focusing on building the attractive physique. More effort doesn't mean more results. There's two paths for you to walk down. And you've been training for 3 months. The first path is you can keep on putting in the amount of effort that you are now and focus on putting in as much effort as you can into the gym, just by trying to actually give it your all when you're in the gym. And the second path is you give it your all when you're in the gym, but you also, outside of the gym, learn how to optimize your training. Well, I already know which path you're going to go down. You're going to choose the second one. Why? Because you're just going to get better results. And that's the right path that you should go down if you want to be a high achiever. To get further, initially, putting in more effort and working harder does pay off. But later on, around the 3 month mark, you need to start working smarter while still giving it your all. After this 3 month mark, you go and start learning things such as progressive overload, time under tension, and point reps. Goals for each month. I think I'm the only person who has ever spoke about which goals you should be doing and setting for each month. This is some very specific information that basically no one else will give you. So make sure you pay attention to this information because I doubt you'll ever hear it again. For your first month, you should be creating the routine. This is exercises that you should do when you're in the gym, whilst you're on a dirty bulk. From month 2 to month 3, you should be tweaking the routine a bit, changing some of the exercises, and just keep on learning which exercise is the best, while still on a dirty bulk. Now you're at the 4 to 7 month mark. This is when you stick to whatever routine you learnt, and you only change it when you actually have a very drastic exercise to include and implement into your routine. You rarely want to change your routine because it stops you from jumping around, just being sporadic in the gym. From 7 months to 2 years, now you're going to do your clean bulk through that time. And then eventually, you're going to get to 2 years and 2 years and 6 months in the gym. This is when you finally reach the big bulk stage. That's a bit complicated to understand, but from your 2 years, when you hit 2 years, you start the big bulk and you finish at 2 years and 6 months. So what is the big bulk? The big bulk is something that lots of bodybuilders do, but they never really gave it a name until I have. I called it the big bulk because it's just simple and easy to understand. This is when you go a bit further than dirty bulking. You just try, and your main focus is eating a lot. Eat a lot of protein, eat a lot of carbs, just get really big and just don't care. In this time, you are going to really hate your physique. You're going to absolutely hate it because you're going to be fat. You shouldn't get overly fat. You shouldn't get to the 30% range, body fat percent range. That's now just a hindrance for when you try to become lean later on. But you are going to be fatter than when you're on a dirty bulk. Your cheeks are going to be filled out. You're going to feel slower. You're going to not feel as attractive. You feel like you're going to go back in your gym journey. You feel like you're just going back in progress. But it's going to pay off. You're going to be stronger. That means you're going to build more muscle. So when you cut, you've had this push, big 6-month boost, and then when you cut, you've gained a lot of muscle. You might think, well, you're going to lose muscle on the cut. That's true, but you're still going to gain more muscle than just an ordinary bulk. Increase test. Testosterone is going to make you recover faster, as well as make you very dedicated to your craft, which is building the attractive physique. I don't advocate for taking steroids. I have no problem with people doing it. They can do it if they like, but I personally don't tell people to do it. That's up to them. I don't do any gear, any enhancing drugs, so I am going to tell you the natural way to increase your testosterone. The first thing that you should start doing is cold exposure. Specifically do cold exposure in the morning. This is a great way to start your day. You feel fresh, you've just accomplished, and you conquered the cold, so now you're ready to go and conquer the gym. The real main specific science-based reason why you shouldn't have cold exposure later on in the day is because it could just ruin other things during your day. In the morning, it's a perfect time to do it. After you've gone to the gym, if you have cold exposure after training, you most likely are going to hinder recovery. If you have cold exposure closely when you go to sleep, now you've also hindered recovery. You've just stopped yourself from having REM sleep. I'm not too sure about REM sleep, but you are definitely hindering your sleep, which is something that you really don't want to do. If you want to have a shower after working out, make sure that you have a warm shower. And I say warm, not hot, because if you have a hot shower, that can also reduce your testosterone and mess with your sperm count. That's a conversation for a different day. Just have a warm shower. Doesn't need to be hot, doesn't need to be cold, just warm. Now for food, your diet. You should already not be eating the bad food for better testosterone, because there's no point you doing things to improve your testosterone if you're already doing things that reduce it. You're just going to be really fighting against yourself. It's going to help you only a tiny bit if you're not doing the things that, if you are doing the things that reduce your test, such as drinking alcohol, smoking a lot, eating the bad food, using a lot of plastic. That's another one. Try and stay away from plastic as much as possible. But you should eat food such as eggs. You should have 10 eggs a day. I know you, Jeffrey Brain, your weak side of your brain is now telling you that 10 eggs is way too much. My fat doctor told me that 10 eggs was way too much. I'm going to have a heart attack. But I know 10 eggs is a lot to eat in a day. I personally don't eat 10 eggs every day because there's a lot to do. It's hard to fit into your day. So have 3 and just over time build it up. You should eat food such as avocado and ginger, as well as celery. Celery helps your testosterone a bit, but ginger and avocado, it's very good for you. And like I said before, you don't want to ruin your sleep. Your sleep is one of the most important things that you have. So how do we make sure that your sleep's good? Well, you've heard the generic advice of don't be on your phone. Well, have you heard, don't eat too close to when you go to sleep? The reason why you shouldn't eat so close when you go to sleep is because when you eat, that's a big process, and your body needs lots of energy for that process. So you shouldn't eat, I'd say 1 hour, because it's new to you. It's going to be hard to do when you try and give you a very regimented routine. You're not going to stick to it because it's new to you. It should be 3 hours before you go to sleep, but I'll say 1 hour before you go to sleep, because digestion is a very big process. So if you're trying to sleep and digest, you're not going to have enough energy to do both. Sleep's also a massive process which requires a lot of energy. Your body only has so much ATP. If your body is trying to do two big processes, it's going to have bad quality results from both. And your phone is generic advice, but don't use your phone for an hour before you go to sleep. Try to make that 2 if possible. Instead, read books. Be productive with reading books. It's low dopamine. It's not very stimulating. It's something easy to do. Become serious about your sleep. This ties in perfectly to what I've just been talking about in the last chapter. But now we're really going to go into some details. You should sleep at the same time every day. Every day. Not just the weekdays. Even on Saturday, Sunday, the weekends when you're off, you should sleep at the same time every day. Your brain has a 15 minutes window. 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after. You need to sleep within this 15-minute window. Let's say you go to sleep at 10 p.m. every night. The latest you should be up to is 10, but you have a window of going to 10:15. And it's actually weird. You think the sooner you go to sleep, the longer you have to sleep. But it's not, it doesn't work that way. You only have until 9:45. You should be awake up until 9:45, and if you fall asleep from then on, that's fine. Within the 15-minute window. This means that your brain is fully optimized and fully conditioned for sleeping. Without it, your brain's all over the place, very sporadic, and you actually like a regimented routine. You already know this. People don't like change, and your brain is the people. That everyone has a brain, and brains do not like change. It likes the same thing because it's comfortable, it's reliable, and it means it's not going to be in danger. So if you let your brain know that you're going to go sleep at 10 p.m. every night, it's going to be more comfortable and more feel safer to just go sleep and have a better quality sleep. We've already spoke about don't eat and no phones, so you should already know about that. But light, this is something that you probably overthink. There should be 0 light in your room. 0. You might see on the sides of your blackout blinds there's some light coming through. Try your best to remove that light. Put some tinfoil on your windows if you have to. And just remove the light. There might be a flashing light from a laptop, like this laptop next to me. Has a flashing light sometimes on this side. So I turn it around, or maybe even tape it, just so it's not flashing and keeping your brain stimulated while you're sleeping. Do everything. People might think you're a psychopath, but you're just being healthier. And now, the best way to wake up goes against it. It's not by from some anxiety-induced alarm, very loud, just wakes you up very sporadically. It's actually from a peaceful light. Think about it. In nature, you wouldn't wake up from like a lion jumping on you. That's not a very good morning. You might, but it's not a good morning to wake up to. Instead, you'd probably just be lay out in some cliff or like some countryside, and the sun would rise, get quite bright. You feel the warmth, and you wake up naturally. That's how you should wake up. If you have blinds that roll up, and if like let in a lot of light, that's great. Try and like let the blinds have some sort of alarm, some like technology that rolls up at specific times, and the sun is now your alarm. If the information in this video has helped you, make sure to go to Ethan Higgins 001 on Instagram. The link in my bio there will take you to my paid community, where you can find more information like this and more people like yourself. Goodbye.